Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of my beginner's playthrough. I'm your host, Sin Skillet, and as you can see, today we're wearing our work clothes. And that is because we've got some things to get working on today. As we discovered in the last episode, the villagers are extremely worried about the zombie problem. And you know what? Because they are, so are we, which is going to take us right back here to our mine and cave entrance that we've been utilizing, where we found our zombie spawner, our abandoned mine shaft, and a few other things. Now, before we get too far into this, I did actually record everything else before this intro, and as I was coming up to record the intro, I discovered something which you'll hear me complain about a lack of throughout this episode a little bit. In fact, I've mentioned it a few times, but this is just going to go to show you you should really explore your caves sooner rather than later. So back here, right around this corner, I have another spawner, and you can see the little skeleton guy in there. So that means this is a skeleton spawner, and I could set this up just like we're doing the zombie spawner. It would work just the same, and get us all of those. No creeper, no. Okay, get us all of those bones that we so much love to work with, or at least I do. I'm not sure how much of a fan favorite that one is. I haven't opened this yet, though. Let's see what we got. A couple of iron ingots, some bones, that'll be good. A little resource, and this, an enchanted golden apple. Oh, those are so rare. Um, they will actually give you a little bit of extra health and like some regeneration or something like that when you eat them. So a lot of people will save them for. Oop, nope, we're not going to die to a skeleton in the intro. I refuse. All right, do I have my shield with me? I do. Okay. We can take this skeleton. Nope, creeper. We're gonna go around the long way, guys. um. Oh, what was I just saying before I was so rudely interrupted? Oh yeah, the apple can give you a little bit of regeneration and some stuff going on, but um, they're really rare. It's actually cool. But anyway, despite having found that now, I am not going to change my overall plans, which I'll discuss at the end of the episode here. Um, but, just a quick sneak preview. We've got some things going on. We've got a little bit of redstone. We've got, this, that, and the other. It should make out for an exciting and, in some cases, mildly educational for some episode. And, I really do hope you enjoy it. So let's get cracking, shall we? All right, bringing you in mid-process here as I'm working on the redesigned zombie spawner. I've been going away and having a little fun with this. Decided on a floor design. Those are bone blocks, and these are here as well. One of the reasons I really love them is they're multi-directional. So depending on how you place them, just like with hoppers or um, oh, I can't even remember off the top of my head, but a bunch of different blocks out there, you'll get different pattern effects. So it gives me an ability to put in kind of a neat pattern with one block that I can just flip-flop how I'm placing it. But I went with that. This crimson kind of purplish wood down here is actually from our wood that we got from the Crimson Forest while we were in the Nether. I'm going to have to go collect more of that as well as bone blocks to get this all completely built and ready. But one thing I was thinking about as I was putting all this together is that I would like an on-off switch. Now, when a spawner has light around it, it is just off by default. But once you take that light away, it will then start spawning again. So one of the things that we can do is a little bit of redstone. This one is going to be real simple, not too complicated. I am going to wire up some stuff around the side so that I can have 4 matching lights at this level. but it'll allow me to turn the lights on and turn them off. And this requires a few things. One, a redstone lamp. We got our glowstone in the last episode. You combine that with some redstone dust, and you'll get yourself a redstone lamp. It's in the recipe book for you. This is a block of redstone, which takes 9 redstone dust to make. It's a good way, actually, when you're down mining. You can collect up a bunch. Bring a crafting table with you if you're using fortune on your pick, and you can craft it down. 9 pieces of redstone dust becomes 1 block, so you could have 9 inventory slots worth of redstone in a single space in your inventory. And this block in particular, once you craft it together, can be taken apart again. So you don't have to worry about losing your redstone dust. Now, the next thing, and this is why I was excited about my slime balls here a couple episodes ago, is the sticky piston. Now let's go over to our crafting table real quick. All right, so pistons move things, and I had talked about that previously. They are sort of a little pricey depending on how you look at things, but require some cobblestone, some iron, redstone dust, and some wood planks of whatever variety you have. Well, once you have crafted that, you can then take your slime ball and turn it into a sticky piston. And that sticky piston is what actually makes this work. If this was just a regular piston, when I open it up like this, it would push and it would turn the light on. But then this block would stay here instead of being retracted back. So this design allows me to, nope, inventory's full. Allows me to have an on-off switch very simply without too much thought. Now, what I'm going to do here is actually go ahead and install this. Now, sticky pistons are directional, so you have to place them the right way. Let's see if I can get this right the first time. There we go. So we have our sticky piston. Now we're going to go ahead and grab our piece of redstone, which I miscounted. That's all right. I'm going to put, you know what? We're gonna commit to this level. I want it. All right, so we're going to try and place this the right direction. There we go. Since I'm up towards the top of this block when I was looking at it, it looks at it like I'm looking at it from the top there. So we got that. Now let's go ahead and put in our 1 block of redstone. We'll make sure, yep, our light's still off. All right, and I don't know yet what I'm going to do for floor blocks here. So this particular block is very subject to change, especially later down the road. But we can put that in. And that lever I made, and that lever is just a stick in a piece of cobblestone. So now when we flick our switch, we're going to have that light. You can just kind of see it right there. Now I'm going to wire it up. I'm going to use something called a repeater, which is another redstone object I'm going to craft up, and I'll talk about that a little more once I show you how I wire this up. It's going to be pretty simple. I'm going to put redstone dust actually right next to where this red block's going, and I'm going to follow this around underground and bring it out to here, where I'm going to, at that same level, put a repeater in and another redstone lamp, and I'm going to keep doing that around. Redstone, if I remember, hold on, let's test this. Why try to remember? I believe you get 7 redstone. See how it's lit up right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so this one's not lit up. So I can have 14 all the way across. So I think I can actually just do this with my redstone line and 4 repeaters in here. Because that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see, I want the repeater in there. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, so this one and that one, I'm going to be able to wire up with just that. I am going to have to put another repeater here, and then continue the line around to this lamp, which, I'm going to have to think on that a little bit. I want this open to be a big, wide glass tube, so I might not actually include a lamp over there at all. But if I did, I could put a repeater down, and as long as it has some redstone signal coming into it, it will recharge it all the way to max level so that you can continue your line around. But with that, I just thought, quick little progress update would be kind of neat. Show you some of what I'm thinking, what I'm doing. I doubt this will be done in this episode. I really don't know yet. This is actually the first clip for this that I'm recording this time. So we'll see exactly how far we get. I do want this zombie spawner functional again. So that's going to happen sooner rather than later. Um, but, oh, huh. Well then, right down into the caves. Um, but yeah, so anyway, I'm going to keep cracking on that. And, oh, I guess as you can see, I actually excavated a huge area up here. Took me a good little bit of time, and it's connected me to some of my caves. While it's on my mind, actually, let's see. This is the abandoned mine shaft. Okay, so this is part of the abandoned mine shaft. And I'd mentioned it a few episodes ago that I actually have some spider spawners. They're not that far away. So let's run down here real quick. Come here. I can come down to this. And I've actually got one that's right inside there. In fact, where is it? Right there. So right here, and then just around the corner, I've got another one right there. So these are actually close enough. I should be able to activate both of them at the same time and get two spawners feeding me spiders at the same time, instead of like I've been doing with the single zombie spawner. That should actually get me a little bit faster XP. So that's probably going to be desirable down the line. Plus, since we're on the quest to cure zombies, don't tell Professor Applecure this, but I actually already know how to do it. And to do it, we are going to need something from those spiders. So, related to what we're working on right now, those spider spawners are actually going to be really important, as well as a little bit of gunpowder, which we can probably collect manually for the time being, though I will make a way to automatically collect it down the road. And sugar cane to make sugar. So we've got a ways to go, but most importantly, we need to make the villagers feel like they're useful and they're helpful and all kinds of things. So this lab for Professor Applecure will become a staple of all kinds of things. And I'm going to throw in a handful of other stuff down in this area. Probably put in a more efficient smelting system, as well as, oh, what was I thinking? Oh, the lava-based fuel system, actually, that I want to utilize down the road. And I've already got a little bit of one set up. I'm smelting up some iron and stuff right now to actually expand on it, but I'll show you how it works, actually. Here we go. Right here. So I have lava sources up here, and they're on top of a block, and then this dripstone that we collected a long time ago. I've actually gone and gotten a little more. When you put it underneath, it'll drip, and you can put a cauldron underneath, which is the expensive part here. It will then fill up and become lava. Let's see. Okay, cool. Which we can collect with a bucket. And then we can put that in our smelting system, and it'll become a fuel source to keep cooking things for us. And you can see, I'll pull this out so it's a little easier to see later. but I've created a little bit of an auto smelter. This one's real small scale. It's slow going, not doing a whole heck of a lot for us yet. But since I'm working in the area anyway and working on a lot of other stuff, this just lets me keep things cooking while I'm waiting uh, to get done with other things. So it's kind of a slight multitasking thing, but too long didn't read. Chest at the top will feed whatever item we're trying to cook into it. Chest on the side will feed our fuel source. One on the back actually works as well. And then this one on the bottom, anytime something's finished cooking, when we can watch that happen here, it will boop over here like it normally does, but then it disappears real fast. This hopper's taking it and putting it into this output chest down here. So we can collect our items and all of that nice and easy. So for infinite fuel, if you can get dripstone early on, the iron for the cauldrons and the bucket and stuff like that might be a little spendy for you. But once you get to cave exploring and stuff, you should be able to afford it fairly well. With the cave exploring and lighting it up, I've done as I'm preparing for other things that I want to do, such as my slime farm. Um, I came across a whole bunch of iron with my fortune pick. I pulled out, I don't know, I think it was about 47 iron blocks worth, which each iron block is 9 of these iron ingots that we're using. So it adds up. I'm already at, getting close to 600 iron, something like that, that I can use between what I've mined down here and the little bits that I've already picked up. But with that, I'm going to keep cracking on this, get the zombie spawner on the inside all decorated, and start getting all of that. I'm going to have that functional by the time I release this episode. Beyond that, the decoration and everything for the lab we're going to put in here is probably not going to get done. Mostly just because of resources. This bone block in particular, which I want to use, I don't have a good source of it yet. I can get a little bit from some of the bone meal that I get from some of my manual farms that I'm operating right now, but it's just not efficient. I do have some ways to automate that down the line. I haven't decided which way I'm going to go yet. I'm kind of thinking maybe I'm going to try the moss block thing with a cobblestone generator and some pistons and do it up all fancy. But I could just as easily do that with a sugarcane farm or a bamboo farm that automatically produces, or I think I can do it with pumpkins and melons. I actually have to test that. I'm not completely sure, but a combination of things that I can start feeding into it to start auto composting and getting the bone meal, which I can then combine to make these bone blocks. Otherwise, I can just go hunt skeletons, get their bones. That's a slow, tedious, steady process, but we'll see exactly how I decide to go about collecting that. But otherwise, this is starting to crack up to be a good and beautiful build. I am excited to have this done, fully functioning, and then our lab decorated out. Um, so that we have ourselves a nice little underground workshop that we can work with Professor Apple here to discover the zombie cure. Um, but don't tell Professor Apple cure. I don't wanna make him feel bad or anything like that, So we'll just keep that between us for now. But I'm keep cracking. Hopefully by the end of this episode, we'll have a functioning zombie spawner again that we can look down in, watch everything happen. I've got a glass tube already set up, goes up top. It's gonna drop down over in that corner and stuff. It's not going to be fully pretty yet, but we are definitely on our way towards that goal. But anyway, have yourself a good one until we meet back up here to hopefully see the finished product. All right, hopping back in here after a little bit of work. I've got my light system on, which I'll show you in a minute. But I want to show you some of the features, upgrades, differences in this spawner setup than I had before. Now, we still got our water streams coming from the back, which then push us down and will land right here. Now, when zombies spawn, they'll come into the chute just like they did before, and then they'll come into this, which I'm going to turn into a bubble elevator. But one of the things I wanted to highlight is these signs right here. Normally, water will flow unless you have something obstructing it, and signs are one of the things that will obstruct it and still let things through the block. All right, so it'll come through. We've got this nice dry spot here that'll push zombies in. And what I'm about to do, I've got one water source all the way at the top here. Okay, I'm going to take this kelp, which I harvested from the ocean, and I've got some great ideas actually for this regarding bone meal production and some additional fuel sources and things like that that I'm going to work on in the future. But I can place this inside of this flowing water. And if I place another piece, it'll go up. So we're going to do that. We're going to go all the way to the top. Okay. There we go. Now, I've come all the way to the top into this area here, which when the zombies come up here, they'll hit that water, and then it'll flow them down here, and they will hit my killing platform. All right. So, this kelp here has an interesting feature. Now, let's go boop. Now, I have my particle effects off, I think, so you can't really see it, but, oh, it's just diminished here. But these little bubbles coming up, it'll be a lot more dramatic if you have everything turned all the way up. But this is now a bubble elevator. Because it turned all of the blocks into water source blocks. Now you see it's kind of lifting me up a little bit. Oh yeah, you can kind of see it once we get into the bubble. But anyway, so our zombies will come here, they'll push each other into here, and they'll get launched way up to the top. And then they'll slowly work their way over here. And keyword on slowly. And they'll knock into each other, push each other until they fall down right here, which is where our zombie killing station's going to be. They take fall damage. So by doing that, they will end up going all the way through the circuit and the loop. And let's see, I need to close this little hole here up. Okay, tinted glass doesn't let light through as far as the game's concerned. So when I turn off my new on-off switch, this should start working as long as I remembered to close up all of the places. One of which I have is right here. And I am going to come back. I'm going to pretty this up a little bit more later. I don't think there's enough light coming through right there that this should be a problem. So let's go test out our new zombie spawner. Alright, and let's make sure, unlike last time, I've got my half slab in place. I do not. So we want to avoid baby zombies. So we want to have ourselves our half slab there so they can't just run out and around. I'll replace this later. So much scaffolding. But anyway, so let's go over. Oh, before I turn my lights off, let me show you how I did this. So if you remember where I put everything, I've got my piston extended right here, and I really did just run redstone around and into the repeater like I said. And I did that on both sides. I did decide to only light up 3 of the sides so that I could have this bubble elevator exposed coming up. And I am going to excavate this whole section out so that I can see the whole loop down the line. But right now, I just want to get this turned on and tested. So let's go ahead and turn off our lights. And instant zombies. And we can actually follow them along. They'll go in, they'll start pushing each other, and boop, up and around. And sometimes this takes a moment to prime up a little bit. There's another one. And are you going to push each other in? No, no. And it doesn't seem like it's spawning more zombies. I might have to come back and modify this a little bit. I might have to push my bubble elevator back by... Oh, no, there we go. It's just a little slow. Um, this will continue to spawn zombies as long as there's not a whole bunch of them in there. But now that it's kind of moving, we'll see he'll pop up. We should have another one pop up in just a moment. Well, keep pushing each other, guys. All right, they'll keep struggling on it. Now we can come over here to where we set everything up, and instead of having to whack, whack, whack like we were before, we should be able to just give them one whack, and nice and dead. Which is going to be fantastic. That if you're using like a stone sword or something in the beginning still, will save you a lot of stone swords. Plus, it'll make things kind of go faster. So this is roughly how the spawner as a whole is going to work. Now, let's go ahead and turn our lights back on. So our zombies will stop spawning now. And there might be one or two of them that are kind of stuck down there for a while until they work their way into the elevator. Alright. And dead, and dead. But overall, this is a great success. You can see I still need to finish some of the interior design, just due to the amount of materials I have right now. This is going to be a little bit of a slow process as I collect things and work on them. Oh, you don't wanna go, guy? Yeah, that's fine. One thing I can do, and you need Silk Touch to do this, is if you can find some ice in the wild, you can harvest it and you can put it down in place of that solid block right there. So when they hit it, they should slip a little faster and more easily go into the bubble elevator. Not a lot that they can do about it once that happens. So that'll be an improvement for the future. Otherwise, though, this is coming along really nicely and it's really fun. So I'm going to go ahead, hop off camera. I'm going to excavate this out now, that I know for sure that it's working the way that I intended it to, and get everything going. Oh, another thing. I put a pillar on top of the spawner. Reason being, zombies can spawn above the spawner and fall down right on top of it. Once they do, they can kind of get stuck there. And if they're too close to the spawner, it won't continue to spawn. And all of a sudden, your spawner will stop working. So, that's definitely not ideal. And we don't like that. So, things to consider, things to avoid. But really, I'm quite pleased with how this is coming along. You can see our floor texture isn't like super prominent like it was before I put in the tinted glass and the water, but it's still a nice thing. Once these walls are replaced with something better, this will just look nice. This will be a fun place to hang out, slay some zombies, get some rest and relaxation, as it were, and we'll be able to keep on collecting our experience, though honestly this will go by the wayside longer term. And I didn't really need it in the first place personally, but part of what I'm doing is I'm slowly progressing through the game and I'm enjoying the entire survival experience as I go, instead of going for super levels and super max right from the get-go. My throat today. In fact, my throat every day. As I've been watching my videos, I've noticed that it's a perpetual problem. I'm going to figure out how to deal with that a little bit better, just for video quality purposes. But let's see. Let's go ahead and take these out, actually. All right. But so it'll be a great, fun, relaxing place. But for casual progression, this is a great way to get yourself started. If I was going to come into a world just beast mode my way through it, I would have already been to the end and set up some of the substantially faster spawning methods. to get myself experience in a real hurry. And um, then I would have not had to worry about levels or getting my gear sorted out quite as fast, um, which would have, potentially been ideal depending on how many times you've played. But with this new update and everything, creeper, no, Mr. Creeper. I wanted to enjoy everything all the way through, nice, slow progression, the way that Mojang kind of intended it. And I'm playing this more as, just a relaxing game. But with that, I'm going to keep cracking on, get some more of this excavated, and we will have the zombie spawner at least fully visible and operational by the end of today. The build to put in the lab and everything like that's going to take me a little bit of time. Just like I said, resources this early in the game with the farms I've set up is a bit of a task gathering them. But, little here, there. And I am posting daily, so it's not like I'm going out and grinding for 40 hours to put together a build. I'm putting in a couple hours of collecting some things, thinking about it, designing things, starting to work on it, recording, and then editing, every single day so that I can keep getting these videos out. Which means progression, it's honestly just going to be slow. That's all there is to it. In fact, let's get a few more zombies. But with that, I'm going to keep playing with this and start excavating out some more areas. I know long term I do want to have kind of an archway ceiling and things like that. So there's a lot of blocks to remove here. I don't even know what the math is on it at the moment, but it'll it'll take a while just to get that part done. But anyway, hopefully in the next clip you'll be able to see the rest of the loop here, and we'll be able to have everything set up and ready for designing the laboratory for Professor Applecure and the villagers so that they can save everyone from the zombie scourge. I just got cracking on excavating some of this, got the zombie spotter turned off, but it reminded me because I saw this guy up here. That's actually a drown. Zombies, when they drown or stay in the water too long, can actually end up turning into the drown mob instead of a standard zombie. And that's actually one of the kind of neat uses I've seen some people use zombie spawners for. Instead of just harvesting zombie stuff, they turn them into drown, and drown can drop copper, which otherwise you have to go out into the world and mine manually. Which, it's not like it's a huge deal. You can accumulate large quantities of copper just by going out and picking out the surface copper as you see it. Which is how I'm currently collecting my stuff. But there are some designs out there to intentionally slow the zombies down as they're spawning and allow you to um, turn all of them into drown instead of just the occasional one or two here and there. Which, it definitely has its advantages depending on what you want to do with things. And I don't really think I'm going to do that, but we'll see. Maybe down the road I'll convert this over into a drown farm, depending on what all I've got going on. But let's see. As you can see, I'm starting to accumulate a junk pile down here. That's the problem with any build that's going to require lots of excavating and lots of different block types. Especially, I didn't massively plan this out to the point where I knew exactly all the resources I needed ahead of time. I'm just going with the flow and building this as I come up to it. So that's going to continue to be a problem up until I have everything done and dusted. Let's see. We'll leave that, yeah, that little bit alone for the moment. I'm going to come back, and the stuff that I'm leaving behind, I'm actually going to replace in glass, so I have my glass drop tube. Just for the sake of getting everything tested and up and running, though, I went ahead and just left it as the deep slate that was there for the most part. You can see it's just a hollow tube right there right now. But anyway, I just thought the drown were worth mentioning, so... if that's a pro tip that's useful for you, fantastic. But if not, well, it's something neat that you can kind of learn about. Oh, he's managed to make his way down the system. What did he drop us? Just some zombie flesh. Oh, man. All right. But I'm going to keep cracking on digging this guy out, and we'll see you again in a bit. Well, we've made some progress. Digging this out, it's a long, boring, arduous task. But I do have a nice big viewing area so that we can see the zombies flowing up, coming down, hitting everything, and we can follow their path. We can research the zombies. We can see how they think, how they move, how they do all of the things that zombies do. And so, for the most part, other than some decorating stuff, which I just need to get a better way to get my materials together to really finish this off. Our zombie collection system for Professor Apple Cure is complete. We have all of the zombies we could possibly want through miracles of science magic. Professor Apple Cure, I think, will be extraordinarily pleased with this when he ultimately sees it. And this should be enough for him to get started, start making some notes. Maybe we'll meet out or Professor Applecure on the next episode. Maybe we won't. We'll just kind of have to see how things jive and flow as we go with it. All right, got a nice little collection going. I turned this on just before I started recording this clip, so let's give it a little whack, see what it does to our pick over there. Oh yeah, that's a good little bit of experience right there. Managed to heal that up quite a bit. So I'm gonna go ahead, finish repairing my pick, and I'm going to call it a day for this one. I've had a lot of fun, recording this, thinking this project out. It's going to be pretty big and epic. I do think ultimately the lab is going to extend way back here. So I am going to have to shave off some of this as well still, so that I can get that full view. I'm not going to have to dig it all the way up to the ceiling like I have, but it is still going to be a lot of digging. And I do want to get this beautified, because who wants to look at a boring, plain-walled zombie spawner all day while they're grinding away at their easy levels? So I think in order to do that, the thing that I'm going to start working on for tomorrow, we'll put this on hold temporarily just to get some of our resource stuff, specifically this bone block. The rest of it I can easily grab up enough out in the wild because it's available. But I think we're going to start working on a couple of bone meal farms of different types. I'm going to try a couple of different things for nice, quick, easy beginner stuff. So tomorrow I think we can start talking about some semi-automatic and low-key beginner automatic farms for some of the things that we can do. Specifically for bone meal, which is probably one of the most valuable resources in all of Minecraft, or at least in my opinion. Iron will be another one, and truthfully, we could have already had an automatic iron farm going pretty much the same day that we landed in our village. All you actually need is 2 villagers. You need to figure out a way to capture a zombie, and set up some platforms, some water currents, a little bit of stuff with some lava, but it's all pretty basic. You can place it a couple of different ways type stuff. We will get into that because I am going to need industrial quantities of iron for some of the things that I personally want to do, which would include an automatic item sorter for a whole bunch of different items. How did you get out? I don't remember letting you. Do I have a hole in here? Oh, you know what? He might have gotten out through the top. I don't have it all the way closed up. It's only a 1 block tall at the moment for the side rail, so he could have jumped down. In fact, I see one of them running around up there right now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go close that up. Slight oversight, but not that big of a deal for us here. Uh, but yeah, so we'll start getting into some of our automatic item collection and things like that as we keep working on this. Man, do we have a zombie backup right there? I might have to go get some ice and fix that. Because they're definitely fighting each other, which is going to slow the spawner down. Um, I might do some alternative things with my water sources and stuff here too to make them or force them to flow a little easier without just getting bottlenecked in this one wide area right here. But anyway, I'll show you whatever little modifications I ultimately make to this down the road for efficiency's sake. Um, but for the short term, if you followed along, kind of gotten everything from this, the big key takeaways is you need a 4 by 4 by 4 area in every direction from the spawner. So 4 across on each side, front and back, up and down. We want this pillar on top of our spawner. We want some water sources to push them into a little spot, which is where how we set up our first zombie spawner. This one, we now have our bubble elevator, and that lifts them way high so that when they fall here, the total fall is 22 blocks. And those are the main numbers that you need to know about when it comes to constructing zombie and skeleton spawners. Spider spawners are going to work a little differently because spiders can crawl up the wall, which is hyper annoying. I hate them. Spiders are stupid, although I do actually have a design that I put together myself. I don't know if anyone else uses it or not, to be honest. It just made sense to me that I'll show you when we get to the spiders down the road, which I am going to personally want just so that I have, um, well, one, infinite string. Infinite string's nice, but also the spider eyes, which is a required component in curing zombie villagers. Having a lot of it, nice, easy, and accessible that way is going to be fantastic. Though a lot further down the line, and really I could already be doing it if I wanted to, we're going to set up a mob drop that's going to collect and kill everything hostile for us, except for Enderman, I think, in the overworld. I have to relook up the spawning mechanics and actually see on that one. But they're really simple, really easy to put together. One of the things I like for the design that I kind of put together myself, and I've seen very similar since on YouTube from other people just because it makes sense. Um, it requires quartz in order to do it because I'm going to need what's known as an observer, but the observer and the dispenser are two redstone components that we would use, throwing a clock, a handful of things like that. So it's a little on the technical side, but when I say little, I mean little. And it's a really good introductory to some of your redstone and observer type stuff, which we'll also be setting up down here for some other things. It's not going to be super efficient, but I'm going to put a small scale sugarcane farm down here so we can make all the paper we need, so that Professor Applecure can take all of the notes on the zombies while he desperately researches the cure for it. And man, do we really have a zombie backup? I need to fix that somehow. Once they start flowing pretty good. But we will get that adjusted, see if we can figure out something better with our water streams. But with that, I appreciate you taking the time to watch. I hope you're enjoying this so far. If you are, leave a comment. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you hate. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. If you want me to continue doing this for the really long term, any help on the YouTube algorithm would be massively appreciated so that we can get this in front of more people who can hopefully come join our little community and start learning some stuff together with us. But with that one, it's been real. It's been fun. Um, and I really am having a blast with this little world here. But as is always, it's time to call it a day. Too much work and, well, honestly, too much play makes for not very effective working. So I hope to see you again tomorrow in our next video.